Together for Road Safety, presented by IRSA in association with Network 18, NGO partner TSL Foundation.
Hello and welcome to this special edition of Together for Road Safety presented by TSL Foundation in association with Network 18. India is on the move, quite literally. With one of the world's fastest growing vehicle populations, mobility has become the pulse of our nation's progress. Yet, with this growth comes a very critical responsibility, ensuring that our roads are not just better facilitators of progress, but safer too. So today we bring together leaders who are driving that very change, blending technology, education, and empathy to make Indian roads far more safer for everyone. From reimagining road engineering to engaging youth drivers, Kia Motors Private Limited and TSL Foundation are working at this very intersection of mobility and social responsibility. So let's now welcome our very distinguished guest, Mr. Sahil Arora, founder and CEO, TSL Group, an influential Indian entrepreneur renowned for his dynamic leadership and innovative business strategies. Sahil today is the CEO of TSL, a groundbreaking social enterprise dedicated to driving social change and sustainability in the country. Also joining us is Mr. Atul Sood, Senior Vice President, Sales and Marketing at Kia India. He, of course, leads the brand's nationwide sales strategy and operations. With nearly 3 decades of experience in the automotive sector, he today is very, very well regarded and renowned for his work in driving pan-India business growth, expanding dealer networks, and also introducing customer-centric innovations. Kia India has always been focusing on customer-centric innovations, and of course, his rich experience is expected to strengthen that aspect of the brand. So, gentlemen, thank you so much for taking out the time and joining us.
Thank you.
Thank you.
This really is a conversation that needs to be had, and I couldn't think of a better time for really having this conversation. So that makes me very, very optimistic. But Atul, I'd like to kick things off with you. Kia Motors, of course, is a household name as far as India's mobility journey is concerned. But just to understand things better, what really gave you the inspiration, or what was that nudge for you to extend that legacy, that let's move beyond vehicles, let's go into issues that have a far-reaching impact, and that could be the realms of road safety, engineering, education. Talk to me about where did that inspiration come from?
We started a journey in India in the year 2019, and all along our focus has been to give all the safety features to our customers, which is both active as well as passive. But beyond that, road safety is a core value, not just for Kia in India, but Kia globally. And towards that context, we decided that if we have to take this community culture of developing road safety habits faster and stronger and sustaining, we needed to have a partnership which is both public and private sector partnership. So towards that, we decided to have a tie-up with the TSL and take this culture of safety faster and together. And I would say, very importantly, more long-lasting.
Yeah, absolutely. I think those really are the big words, that a lot of these initiatives start on paper, but they're unable to have that far-reaching impact. And of course, I'll talk about that in just a bit. But Sai, let me get you in the conversation as well. Very well said in terms of where the inspiration came from. But I want to ask from you, TSL actually sits very beautifully at that intersection of corporate intent with grassroots impact, right? And trying to bridge that gap as well. So firstly, talk to me about how did this partnership with Kia really happen, but also from your own perspective of where does road safety really find its place in the larger heart of TSL's vision as well?
So at the outset, thank you, Ridhima, for having us on the show. When Kia approached us, the alignment was very quick and sudden. It was a one-line statement that we don't want to do mere compliance. We want to make an impact on the Indian roads. We want to make the overall road safety environment safer. Mobility should be safer. And like Atul mentioned, we are actually living in a world where, the scenario and the numbers are very daunting from an Indian context. We contribute less than 1% of the vehicular population of the world, while we contribute more than 10% of the fatalities, right? India ranks number 1. He mentioned that, nearly 500,000 accidents, which is which is very alarming. And what is even more critical is that 37% actually translate into deaths, which means that if you're having 500,000 accidents, almost 1.7 lakh deaths, that is one death every 4 minutes, right? So when Kia approached us, we sort of brainstormed together. And like I said, the alignment was very clear that we do not want to do a tick box. We want to create a project which is long lasting, which is sustainable, where we can get multiple stakeholders together. See, road safety is such a broad topic that one corporate cannot do justice. Absolutely. Neither one NGO can do it. So nor we can do it, nor Kia can do it. It has to be with the broader alignment of government stakeholders, public-private partnerships, and other players coming into play. So we curated this project called Buckle Up, where we targeted on 2 interventions. Road safety generally has 4 E's. We targeted the engineering and the education part of the 4 E's, where we are working with around 100-odd schools in Gurgaon and Delhi NCR, targeting more than 60,000 students. So that's a big number that we targeted. And the impact has been really nice. The awareness levels have gone up. We even introduced simulator-based trainings, that is design-led learning. So we didn't want to sort of stick around only to the classroom sessions, but we wanted students to actually experience what happens on the road, right? Yeah. Because the research and the scientists also say that experience-based learning actually shoots up your awareness quotient, and then you're able to learn better, retain better. So that's how this partnership sort of got into play.
Atul, let me come back to you, and we want to talk about the special initiatives that have been taken as part of this, partnership between Kia and TSL. So talk to me about initiatives like these. Now, of course, from my understanding and the conversations we've had before we start rolling also, they range from various aspects. They could be not just road safety, but road engineering, education. So talk to me about these various initiatives, school awareness campaigns. How have they panned out, and what has been the kind of your understanding from the ground and the kind of impact that you're seeing as well?
Yeah. I think Sahil has covered most part of it actually. So we focused on 2 areas. So one is engineering, wherein we took a lot of, we took a lot of consultation from different authorities, which could be the police authorities. So in consultation with these authorities, we set up in Gurgaon 750 crash barriers. Now these barriers were set in locations which are more prone to road accidents. So I would say that's more from an engineering perspective. But as already rightly pointed out by Sahil, our second main focus was how do we bring about and educate and build awareness among the children or among the school kids, I would say, because these eventually will be growing up into youth and they really would be the catalyst for change. Yeah. And also what we have typically seen is when we are moving around with your kids in cars, kids normally also have a very strong habit to urge their parents into the right driving habits. So our intent was very clear. We bring about this change in the kids so that they graduate into responsible, focusing more on good driving habits, good road safety habits when they grow up. And as I said earlier, this message spreads in the community as well. So this was a broad focus we were looking at. So we looked at it as a more holistic approach. And already pointed by Sahil that we looked at about 100 schools in the National Capital Region. And we did about 60,000 kids, school kids is the target we have to cover this. So that's a broad framework we are working on. What I must re-emphasize that our focus was to take inputs from different authorities, from schools, from police authorities, so that we have a more better understanding and I would say more collaborative approach.
And I'm also being told as part of these programs, because you mentioned that, and it's very rightly said that what a child sees at home are the habits that they pick up, right? And the same goes for road safety as well. If you see your parent talking while driving, the child will emulate something similar. If they see them texting while driving, they'll see something similar. I'm being told there was a parent report card also that was in a way as part of this campaign. Would you want to talk to us about that? And how did that really work? What is the kind of mindset did you see shifting there?
See, like I initially mentioned, all the programs that we design, we try and take a multi-stakeholder approach. So when we target the child in terms of shooting up his or her knowledge and trying to make an impact with their behavior, we also want to expand the reach to their parents, to their guardians, to the teachers, because ultimately children spend close to 8 hours or 10 hours with their teachers and the rest of the time with their parents. So what are the parents thinking? Is there a change in the behavior? Because we will not be able to notice that, right? No matter we can go 10 times to the school, but we'll only be spending those 2 hours, right? In which the child can actually act and sort of tell us that, okay, I'm following all the rules and I'm aware. But the behavior aspect needs to be captured either by the teachers or, we even went down to the level of talking to the bus drivers and the conductors. That, do you see a change? Are the children actually, taking their hand out of the window? Yeah. So getting to know what is happening, why is happening, do we need to focus more? Are there some brand ambassadors so that we can reward them? We can create a mechanism where, children feel cool. There's this aspect of being cool in the school, right? And it's all for the wrong reasons. Yeah. So can we change that narrative that if you're following the traffic rules, can you be a cool child? Yeah. And then we also introduced Kia inspectors in the schools. So these were children who were actually allowed to fine other children for doing certain things which are not appropriate. So these are some of the innovative factors that we sort of inculcated into the project.
Well, this has already been such a fascinating conversation, but we do need to take a break. It's now time for us to slip into a very short break before we carry on with this very special conversation. But stay with us, stay tuned, as there is more to come on the other side.
Together for Road Safety, presented by IRSA, in association with Network 18, NGO partner TSL Foundation.
Welcome back to the special edition of Together for Road Safety, presented by TSL Foundation in association with Network 18. And we're, of course, in conversation with Atul, Sood and Sahil Arora. Gentlemen, it's already been so riveting, but we're just halfway done. So let's continue with that conversation. Because what you said, Sahil, is very interesting, that if the mindset change doesn't happen, the numbers will not show, or the awareness will not show. And that is true. But when you work with so many stakeholders, there's of course an intersection that's happening of policy, people, purpose. But at the same time, you're also keeping the larger idea in your mind, which is that I'm designing and I also want to scale something that actually causes a behavioral change, right? So how do you approach something like that? How do you ensure that the mindset change actually happens on that level?
So when we sort of ideate and conceptualize a program, we do a lot of primary and secondary research. We do a lot of focus group discussions, which actually form a part of creating that entire narrative, that how we have to design it, how we have to implement it. Like Atul also mentioned, it's not just about covering numbers. We want to make an impact. We want to see that change happening. So we approach different stakeholders. Like, for example, we go and meet state police departments to understand what is happening, where are the accidents happening, why are they happening, is it because of overspeeding, and surprisingly, these numbers are not very good to state, but the true figures state that daily we lose around 45 children in India due to road accidents, and that's a huge number, right? So are they not knowledgeable that they don't have to cross the road, or they don't want to cross the highways? Where exactly is the fault? So we try and understand where are the gaps, how can we fill those gaps, and yet work with the state departments. And I would like to commend the work of NHAI, Ministry of Road Transport and Highways, and even the police departments. They've been very, very helpful. For Kia Buckle Up also, whenever we have called them, they've been available. They come and take sessions for us in the schools as well. And they become a great source of motivation for the children, right? Because generally the narrative is that if a traffic cop is stopping you, it's for a wrong reason. Maybe he wants to do a challan, but sometimes they even guide you that you were doing this thing which can actually cause an accident or hurt you, and you should not be doing it. So that's how we try and design the projects.
Yeah, that's a fair point that Sahil is also making, Atul, that when you work with various stakeholders, it's not just about the impact that you can, make, or the opportunity that is there, but there are also learnings, because they're also dealing with 50 different people on a day-to-day basis. So the ground reality becomes far more clearer. Talk to me about Kia's interaction with various stakeholders, and what have your learnings been there?
Well, I would resonate to what Sahil just mentioned, because at Kia, we have very strong expertise in building safer roads. Even from an engineering perspective, we can work on it. But we would strongly rely on the expertise of these local authorities. So it could be school teachers who can actually tell us, as I think Sahil rightly mentioned, how do we bring about that awareness in a right way among the kids? That's one. which are the areas we identify in the city where we can focus more to avoid accidents. For that, police authorities, they can give us much better insights. And also very important, we speak to the parents also and understand, what is their perspective from road safety. Accordingly, we can work on inculcating a better awareness among the kids based on all these parameters. So I would say it's a holistic approach. We take everyone and their opinions and expertise and then work on in a collaborative way so that the desired results can be obtained.
Atul, I want to come to you now about a very, very key aspect, and I actually want to talk to you about this in a little detail, which is how do we make the younger generation, the first-time drivers who are just taking to the roads, not just far more aware, but far more accountable and responsible as well, right? A big chunk of a younger population is now going to be taking to roads for the first time. So talk to me about Kia's initiatives engaging with the youth. These are first-time users, as I said, on the road. They're the younger population. What is the kind of engagement that you're having with them? As I said, not just for them to understand what is right, what is wrong, but also to understand that every action has a reaction and you need to be far more accountable as well.
I would just like to highlight that the approach we have taken is basically that when we have those sessions with the school kids, that's very important. How do we inculcate that culture of sane driving habits, road safety habits, and following traffic regulations very strongly? So that's been our strong focus area, and we would like to follow that on a close basis. And as I said earlier, we can always make safer cars. And our cars have top rated safety features, whether it's active safety or passive safety. But overall, road safety is much more than having safer cars. So our focus was to how do we work very closely with the school kids to build that culture. And once you build the culture with the school kids, as I said earlier, it's always going to percolate to the community as well. And then we can see, and as Sahil rightly said, this has to be sustainable.
Gentlemen, before I begin to wrap, I want to understand something from both of you. Atul, I'll come to you first. Let's say we go back 10 years in time. The statistics were still this jarring, but the conversations around road safety would either happen only around Road Safety Month or one odd summit, and that's about it, and then people will forget about it. But now that has changed, whether it's social media, whether it's just the role of media, citizens themselves. This conversation is far more aggressive, far more frequent, I must say. What is the kind of change that you have seen in how people are making this conversation? Because as we said, we can have all these conversations. At the end of the day, the mindset change is not happening on the ground with the citizens, then the job is only half done. How have you seen this conversation change?
I think what you said is absolutely right, because what we typically say is the people who are already driving, changing their mindset through various campaigns is happening, but possibly the pace is not as good. But again, I would possibly being repetitive, but when you look at kids, even without this kind of education, when they are with their parents, they are the people, they are the citizens of this country who want to drive change much faster. They are much more committed in that direction. So our experience through entire project Buckle Up and very strong confidence that we have is that kids will really drive this change. And they will be the key change points in terms of making India much more safer, much more sustainable, is what we strongly feel.
I want to take the same question to you. How have you seen, because you're not just working with one partner or one organization, you have multi-stakeholders and multi-initiatives as well. How have you seen that conversation turn out?
So I think, like you rightly mentioned, the conversation has been changing. The focus, I think, started coming on road safety after the MDGs got converted into the SDGs. Road safety became a very important topic for India as well. Initially, we didn't have too much focus. We started to realize that road safety is a major contributor to the overall fatalities in India, and that's how all the stakeholders, including the government, corporate organizations, actually CSR also played a very important role. The Act was enacted in 2013 and played, came into play in 2014. Since then, a lot of corporate organizations picked it up. Like a lot of mobility partners, automobile companies, they took it upon themselves that it's our responsibility to not just make safer vehicles, but to also build safer roads, right? Have a safer environment for our pedestrians, for people who are on the road. It can be motorcyclists, cyclists, or any other people. So the entire conversation has picked up, in my view, after 2015. But there has been a lot of focus on targeted interventions. Like I said initially, there are 4 E's of road safety. People have started to realize that, which E is important in which geography, right? Because you can't be working on, let's say, education when it's not an issue in a particular geography. It can be engineering, it can be enforcement, it can be emergency. So we see a lot of targeted interventions, a lot of knowledge sharing happening. So that's how, it has translated into a better picture for India.
How lovely. Atul, I'll give you the final word. If I had to ask you Kia's contribution as we wrap this conversation, not just to manufacturing, but also to nation building, what would that be?
Yeah, we are very strongly committed to India, and if I have to slightly elaborate on this, we want to link innovation with mobility. That's one thing, but we're equally responsible towards the contribution we give to this country. That's very important. And I must cite some examples. What we do is, in our plant, we are working towards having 100% renewable energy by the year 2030. And as a global organization, we are working towards being carbon neutral by 2045. So these things are very clear in our mind. We have to contribute to the environment in a very strong and positive way. That's one thing. And equally important, as corporate citizens, we must contribute to road safety and road awareness on a continual basis. So we will continue to do our endeavors on a regular basis, and our commitment to the overall and holistic growth within this country is extremely crucial for us.
That's very heartening to hear. Gentlemen, this has been such a pleasure chatting with both of you, and we really hope that there are many learnings from this conversation. We actually see the real change happening on our roads. So thank you so much for taking out the time and joining us.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you very much.
That truly was an engaging discussion. Today's conversation reminded us that road safety has to be more than just a policy goal. It must become a shared moral commitment for all stakeholders involved. And through its partnership with TSL Foundation, Kia India is showing how a corporate vision can have and can extend beyond vehicles in touching lives and communities. And as we've heard from our guest today, the journey to safer roads is not just about better infrastructure or even smarter cars, but the main issue is that it's about building awareness, responsibility, and collective ownership. So I really have to thank our guests once again, Atul, Sood and Sahil Arora, for their insights. But I have to thank our lovely viewers as well for joining us. So thank you so much, and until next time, stay aware, stay responsible, and drive safe.
Together for Road Safety, presented by IRSA in association with Network 18, NGO partner TSL Foundation.